All right, so my first z-score for psychology is going to be, again, my score minus the average score, 89, divided by the standard deviation. So it's going to be -8/6, which is -1.33. And then for economics, 42 on the economics test with a mean of 50 and a standard deviation of 8. So it's going to be, so the z-score for econ is going to be 42 minus 50/8, which is -1. Which one would you rather be? Econ. You'd rather be only one standard deviation behind the mean, behind the mean than 1.33 standard deviations below the mean.
So wait.
Yeah.
So going back to that, like in the class. So is that trying to say that?
You guys quiet.
Is that trying to say that in the class, in that econ class, he's only so far away from like a perfect score? Is that what
No. Here's where everybody else is. This is the average of the class.
Okay.
You're this far below the average.
Okay.
Whereas the other one's saying, here's the average of the class. You're this far below the average.
Okay.
In terms of, in terms of where everybody else is.
The mean, average.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Was that your question that this is one you had a question about? Somebody had a question about this. Was that you?
No, that was me, but I already.
Okay.
Thank you, Don.
Sure. All right, percentile. Carl, why don't you go ahead and read for us?
Percentile of value x equals number of values less than x over total number of values times 100. If you follow the book and use numbers of value less than x plus 0.5, that is fine too, to show your work. Right, so the book does it slightly differently. They take that and you add a half to it and then you use round to the nearest number. What I do is I just always round up, and it works out the same way. It doesn't matter. So you can do either way. You get the same thing. But remember, the percentile it's the percent of people less than you. So you take the number of people that are below you, figure out what fraction of the whole they are, and then change that to a percent, multiplying by 100. So problem 6 in your quiz. Let's see, 36. How many people who's finished this one? Okay, so looks like pretty much everybody. So these guys are all less than 36, right? How many of them are there?
8.
8. So 8 people are less. 8 out of how many?
36.
8 out of 36 are less. So I'm going to multiply by 100%, so I get it as a percentage. And it ends up being what? 22? 22%? So it's the 22nd percentile. Questions? Do you guys need 30 seconds with your neighbors to chat about it? No? All right, that's fine. All right. And then, remember, we talked about this a little bit last class, the opposite. So here, this is when you have a percentile and you want to know what position, which one is that? Which number, which value is that percentile? So this comes from the formula we just had a second ago, where I want to know the percentile. That is equal to the number of people lower than you divided by the number of people there are times 100. How do I solve for L? I multiply by n and divide by 100, both sides, because then the hundreds will cancel out and the n's will cancel out. So L is equal to n times k over 100. That's what we have. That's where that comes from. You don't have to know how to do that. You just have to kind of accept it. But here, remember, L is the number of people lower than you, and k is your percentile. So here I went ahead and did a quick example. We want to find the value corresponding to the 25th percentile. So 25 over 100 multiplied by n I have 10 students, so that's 2.5. 2.5 is the number of people lower than me. Who has 2.5 people below them? The third guy. The third guy has 2 people below him. Anywhere from 2 to 2.999 people are below him. Does that make sense? I'm the third guy. I beat 2 people, or anywhere from 2 to 2.999 people. So the third guy, 5, he is the 25th percentile because he beats 2.5 people. So why don't you guys take a shot at doing lab problem number 4. Oh, so now we got to switch over to your lab problem. So it is on, let's see, it's in your notes. Second page, measures of position, 3.3. And second page, kind of towards the bottom.
Got problem 4.
That problem 4. Does anybody need a copy? So your problem was this one. You're going to find the 15th percentile. So 15%, 15 over 100, times how many are there?
40.
40. And you will get 6. That's your L. That's how many people are lower than you. All right, so L again represents the number of people lower than you. So if 6 people are lower than you, who are you?
You're 22.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, you're 22. Make sense? All good?
Yes.
Good. All right, now we're going to talk about quartiles. Quartiles, if you guys focus for the next 2 minutes, are super easy. So let's talk about them. First of all, quarters. How many quarters are there in a dollar? 4. So quartiles separate data into 4 equal parts. If I do that, I need to make 3 cuts. 1, 2, 3. That separates me into 4 different pieces. So there are 3 quartiles that cut data into 4 equal spots, 4 equal pieces. How do you do that? Who thinks that finding medians are really easy? Good, they are. Finding medians are super easy. You put your data in order, you find the one in the middle. If 2 are tied for the middle, you average those 2. Right? So actually the problem we did on the quiz when we did the medians, I should probably jump back to that, huh? We'll go over there really quickly. Where was that? This one? So finding the median of this. So we know that the bottom group and the top group, those cancel out. And then we can kind of look at, well, we can sort of look at it like this. Here's the top half. Here's the bottom half. If I find the biggest of the lower half and the bottom of the top half, those should be the 2 that are tied for the middle. Does that sort of make sense? And I average those 2. So 45 plus 49 divided by 2, 47 is my median. You'll get something like this kind of on the exam where you have to sort of, I think where you have to sort of like block out the data a little bit. So that's why I kind of want to show you guys this quickly. But here's how you find the quartiles. You split your data, you put your data out. You first split it perfectly in half. So you have a lower half and an upper half. Then you find the median of the lower half. That's your Q1. You find the median of the upper half. That's your Q3. Then I would say after you do that, then find your median, your Q2 of the whole thing. Because that avoids this complication of people trying to like remove that part from the half. So first split your data perfectly in half. Find your Q1, find your Q3, find your Q2, which is your median. and then find your min and max. That's the, that's this part here. Couple of comments on some other things. So these are in your notes. Right, write them in. I think it's on the next page maybe. Top of the next page. Deciles, separate the data into 10 equal groups. Quartiles, separate the data into 4 equal groups. And then we have something called the interquartile range. So you guys should be writing all these into your notes, right? Everyone's writing these in? Interquartile range. That is, do you guys see the word mid here? Where? Mid. You see the word mid? No, there's no word mid. You're not taking an average. You're taking the difference. Interquartile range, you're taking the top one and the bottom one, the top quartile and the bottom quartile, and you find the difference. So remember mid, if it's mid-range, then you average them. This is just regular range. Top of the bottom, subtract them. Good, so that's the interquartile range. We take the top quartile, the bottom quartile, and you subtract the two of them. Then we have something called the 5-number summary. This is the 5-number summary. Just write down this part here. So all we care about is the min, Q1, Q2, Q3, and the max. Q2 is the median, so you can put median either one. But just those 5 things, write them down quickly. Does everyone know where you are in the notes? Good. So how do you find it? So here is my example. First, put your data in order. If you don't put your data in order, you're just going to give me a whole bunch of garbage. You're going to have a min of 72 and a max of 13 or something like that, which makes no sense, right? Put your data in order. Then, split your data perfectly in half. Lower half, upper half. Then find the median of the lower half. My lower half has an even number of items in it. So do I have one median or do I have 2 numbers tied for the middle? 2 tied for the middle. So I'm going to average these 2. And if I average those 2, I'm going to get 24.5. That's my Q1. Then I'm going to, same thing here. Whatever happened here, this should be the same because they should be the same size. So here I need to average those 2. And that'll be 65. That's my Q3. After you do that, then figure out what your median is. Since it's even, then these 2 numbers should average, and I get 39. That's my Q2. And then the min and max are easy. Just the first and the last. Min max. Good? So here my 5-number summary would be 10, comma, 24.5, comma 39.5, comma 65, comma 90. Here's a different way it might go down. So that's one possibility. Everybody follow what we did? We found that we split our data perfectly in half, found the median of the lower half, the median of the upper half, and the median of the whole thing. And then the min and the max. This is another way it might turn out. Again, put your data in order first. I have an odd number of data points. I can't split it perfectly in half. There's this guy in the middle. Do you guys see him? So I have to, since I can't split him in half, I have to ignore him and find the lower half and the other half, leaving him out. So I can't split him up. That's the important part you guys need to pick up. If there's an odd number, then you can't split it perfectly in half. You leave that one out. Then I find my median of the lower half. I have an odd number, so there's just 1. That's my Q1. Same with the other one, that's my Q3. This one, there's only one guy in the middle, so that's my Q2 or my median. And then I have my min and my max. So here it would be 14, comma 23, comma 42, comma 61, comma 73. You guys do lab problem 5. Alright, so you need to put them in order. 14, 23, 27, 36, 38, 42, 55, 61, 73. There's an odd number of them, so I can't split them perfectly in half, so I have to split them up almost perfectly in half, just leaving out the middle one. So I have an even number over here. It means I need to average the two here to find out my Q1. Same thing over here. I have an even number, so two tied for the middle. Average them to get my Q3. And then my Q2 is really easy because there's only one number in the middle. That's my Q2. And then, of course, you have your min and your max. So my 5-number summary for this one is going to be 14, comma 25, comma 38, comma 58, comma 73. And then these ones are also in order already. I'm just going to rewrite the same, they're the same numbers, so I just rewrite the same order, except for I have to add in 49 right here. And again, try to split them perfectly in half when possible. Can I split these guys perfectly in half? Yes. There's 10 of them. So split them perfectly in half. Find the median of the bottom half. There's just one in the middle, because I've got 5 items. So 27's in the middle. That's my Q1. 55's in the middle. That's my Q2, or Q3, sorry. And then for my Q2, I need to average the two that are in the middle. That's my Q2, and then I have my min and my max. So this is 40. So here it's going to be 14, comma 27, comma 40, comma 55, comma 73. Everybody good with those? All right. Now we're going to talk about box plot. Sterling, go ahead and read.
A box plot or box and whisker diagram is a graph of a data set that consists of a line extending from the minimum value to the maximum value, and a box with lines drawn at the first quartile, Q1, the median, and the third quartile, Q3.
Perfect. Thank you. Here's an example of a box plot. You can see Q1, the median, Q3, there's a box around those guys and through the median. So just try kind of a box through these guys and through there. And then whiskers out to the min and max. From this, does it look like the data is symmetrical or kind of more towards the left? Yeah, it's kind of more towards the left, because most of the data is all more towards the left. Can someone see that? You should be able to look at a graph and get information from looking at the graph without having to even see the numbers. Here, how about this one? Symmetrical, yes, no? So this is a normal distribution. This is how it looks. Symmetrical, everything, these are all roughly even-ish, centered. Make sense? This one, totally skewed. You guys see that? If you take this and you do this, which some people will, trust me, $125, $205, $300, $640, $28.40. You will lose the 3 easy points you get for making a box plot, because that is just you listing out a bunch of numbers and drawing a picture near it that has nothing to do with what it actually looks like. right? This is what it should look like, not that. Everybody understand what I'm saying? This tells me, oh, everything's way over here, there's this big long outlier way over there, and most of my data is bunched up here, and there's a bunch grouped in here, and kind of grouped in there, and then kind of, it's a little more spread out there. So you should be able to look at the picture and the graph and get information from it. So what you really should do, so again, don't do this, right? Do that, and the easiest way to do that is to first make a regular number line before you even look at your data. Make a regular number line and go maybe by 10s or by 20s along here, evenly spaced. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And then put your numbers in. So make a number line. And don't make a number line like this either. This is bad. Don't do this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Right? That's going to get you in serious trouble as well. Right? Then you're going to lose tons of points for that. So make a reasonable number line and then mark them in. So what's my 5-number summary? 10, 24 and a half, 39 and a half, 65, and 90. So mark in your 5 dots where they go on the number line, and then draw a box around the middle 3. Just like that. And then out to the ends. And the lines out to the ends. Done. You guys do a box plot for your data in 5B. So what was your data in 5B, incidentally? Someone tell it to me.
14, 25, 40, 58, 73.
For 14 what?
14, 25, 40, 58, 73.
40, 58, and 73?
Yes.
All right, so make a box plot for this. Again, first thing, draw a number line. You have to include 14 and 73, so maybe go from 10 to 80. That might be a good way of doing it, yeah.
Those are the numbers for 27.
Oh, A, what's the numbers for B? 14, 27, 40?
Yeah, 55 and 73.
55 and 73. Okay, great, thank you. So, again, you need to go from 14 to 73, so you probably should go by, from 10 to 80 maybe. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Seems good.